Please subscribe my channel. She came home later than usual, heels in her hand, jacket draped over one arm, humming softly like the night had gone exactly as planned. The apartment lights were off. No dinner smell. No message on the counter. Just silence waiting for her to notice. She called my name once, casually, the way you do when you're sure the answer will come back. It didn't. She checked the bedroom, then the bathroom, then stood in the hallway with her phone in her hand, scrolling through messages she hadn't sent me all evening. That was the moment she realized something was wrong. Not dramatic wrong. Not screaming wrong. Just the kind of wrong that settles in your chest and refuses to move. That dinner with her boss wasn't new. She'd mentioned it earlier that week, smiling too much while explaining it was last minute and important. I nodded, asked nothing, and went back to folding laundry. I'd learned that questions only made her defensive, and defenses had a way of turning into accusations. So I stayed quiet. Silence had become my way of keeping the peace. Or at least that's what I told myself. The truth was simpler. I was tired. Tired of pretending not to notice the shifts, the guarded phone, the careful wording, the way her laughter changed when his name came up. The day she left for that dinner, I woke up early and sat at the kitchen table longer than usual. The apartment felt temporary, like a hotel room you know you won't return to. I watched the light move across the wall and thought about how many times I'd ignored the same feeling before. There's always a moment when you know. Not because of proof, but because something inside you finally stops arguing. I didn't confront her. I didn't wait for confirmation. I did something quieter. I decided I was done being the last person to know my own place in someone else's life. She texted me that afternoon. A simple message. Dinner might run late. I replied with a thumbs up. No questions. No concern. That response probably reassured her more than anything I could have said. People relax when they think you're predictable. They get careless. I packed a small bag after she left. Not in a rush. Not angrily. I folded my clothes carefully, like I was a guest checking out. I took only what was mine. I left the rest exactly as it was. Familiar. Comfortable. Unchanged. That part was important. I didn't leave a note. Notes invite explanations, and explanations invite arguments. I didn't want her rehearsed answers or half-truths. I wanted absence to do the talking. I forwarded my mail, canceled the shared subscriptions, and turned off my location. Small, administrative acts that felt heavier than they should have. Each one was a door closing quietly. By the time the sun set, I was gone. Not in a dramatic exit, not slamming doors, not blocking her number in a fit of rage. Just gone. At dinner she laughed. I know this because she told me later. She said the conversation flowed, the wine was good, and she hadn't checked her phone once. She said it like it was something to be proud of. When she finally drove home, she was relaxed, humming, replaying jokes in her head. She expected me to be on the couch, maybe half asleep, asking how it went. Instead, she walked into an apartment that felt unfamiliar. Too quiet. Too still. The kind of quiet that makes your footsteps sound intrusive. She called me again, this time less casually. Straight to voicemail. She sent a text. Then another. Her confidence drained with each unanswered attempt. She checked the closet and noticed the empty space where my jackets used to hang. She opened the drawer and saw the gap where my watch had been. That's when panic finally arrived. Not because she missed me, but because she'd lost control of the narrative. People don't panic when they're guilty. They panic when they realize the other person is no longer waiting. She sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall, trying to piece together a version of events where this made sense. I imagine she told herself it was temporary, that I'd gone to cool off, that I'd come back once she explained. That's the comfort people give themselves when they've always been forgiven before. What she didn't understand yet was that forgiveness wasn't the issue. I hadn't left because of what I knew. I left because of what I'd finally accepted. The next morning she called my friends. My sister. Even my coworker. Each unanswered question made the situation feel more real. Disappearance is unsettling because it removes the chance to perform remorse. There was no scene, no confrontation she could replay and adjust. Just a blank space where I used to be. That space followed her all day. Into meetings. Into conversations. Into the pauses where she usually reached for her phone. Absence has weight when you're the one who caused it. By the time she sat alone at the kitchen table that night, the same table where I'd watched the light move the day before, she understood something she hadn't expected to. I wasn't angry. I wasn't chasing. I wasn't waiting. I had stepped out of her life the way she'd been slowly stepping out of mine, only faster, cleaner, and without asking permission. And for the first time she had to face the reality of a choice she thought she could postpone forever.